Hello, hello. How's everybody doing? I'm Rosville, and this is Alliance Late Night, episode 12. Back for another episode, another week. A lot of wrestling's been happening all weekend long. It is Tuesday, March the 18th, um, starting 14th, Friday of last week. There was a lot of professional wrestling happening all across the country. I'm sure it's a challenge for a lot of people to keep up with. It is with me, so I don't try to keep up with everything. I try to keep my focus on the allotted, or I guess my chosen, my selected promotions of preference. NWA being at the top of that list. So this episode, we're gonna be discussing and reviewing NWA Powerrr, new episode of Powerrr, also dubbed as NWA Shockwave. Now, before I really dive into this, I'm going to try to make this video quick. There's other reviews that have already been posted out there, but I really wanted to discuss this because it's basically a new season, a new run, fresh start, so to speak, for NWA Powerrr. From the beginning of this, I would have to say that one, I didn't quite understand why in the intro of this show there was nothing shown to present Shockwave. You didn't know that it was Shockwave until commentary said it was Shockwave. I thought that was kind of odd. I know that we've run Shockwave before. Not we, they have run Shockwave before. So it's not really a new event title. Nonetheless, it was something that stuck out to me. It wasn't highlighted. It was only mentioned in the commentary. But let's move on from that because I do have some other notes. So, first of all, there was a new intro for NWA Powerrr. New music. It's nice to freshen up, change things up. It didn't stick out to me as anything really hit me like, oh, that was something. It was just something to go, oh yeah, something to notice. Oh yeah, they changed it up a little bit. Not bad, not good. Just changes, adaptive. It makes you pay attention. So in that regard, it's a good move. This took place March 11th, so I'm a week late, week behind on my review. But like I said, there's a lot of professional wrestling happening. I went to an event this past weekend. I watched a pay-per-view for Maple Leaf Night 1, Maple Leaf Pro, to see Tom Latimer take on Bishop Dyer. So that's why I'm just now getting to this. This took place in Dallas, Texas, at the OC Theater in the something multiplex that was mentioned in commentary. When these videos are posted on X, it would be nice if there was more details in the descriptions. So when I'm doing, or when other podcasters are doing their reviews, they can quickly reference that since we're no longer streaming any of these videos, any of these episodes on YouTube. That'd be kind of nice to still stick with that format. Before we get to the opening match, I do want to say that I noticed something while watching this taping for NWA Powerrr / Shockwave. The OC Theater, Dallas, Texas crowd was more alive and more into it and more engaging than Dothan. That's not the NWA saying that, Dothan. That's me, Rosville, Alliance Late Night host. I don't know what it is about Dothan. I don't know if it's overkill, oversaturation. I don't know anything about the area. I don't want to assume anything. I know the athletes or wrestlers, when they get out there and they cut their promos, they can talk their spiel about what they feel and think about Dothan. But from my viewpoint, it seems like they don't know what to do in Dothan. And go back to the week prior, the last episode, The Looks to Kill, and then watch last week's episode of NWA Powerrr. Completely different energy. And you could tell that the athletes fed off of that energy. So, first and foremost, shout out to Dallas, Texas, the fans, the NWA fans of Dallas, Texas, and those who went out to the OC Theater for Shockwave. I look for things like that because when I go to events, I like to get into it. I may not be as wild as some of the others. I don't drink, so it's not induced. However, I understand the factor. I understand what I bring to the table as a fan when I go to an event. So when I see and notice that the crowd is flat, it oftentimes reflects in how you see the athletes performing in the ring, which is why this episode of NWA Powerrr / Shockwave, I have to speak highly of. So the opening match was Colby Corino, Sam Adonis. This week again, I came with my notes. Here I have in the notes, this match reminded me of a classic NWA match. The timing was more to my liking. It wasn't overkill as far as like a cruiserweight or lucha style match, but it wasn't something that drug on. Like, is anybody going to lock up? Is anybody going to do something? Is anybody going to do a sequence of moves? I didn't have to sit back and ask myself those questions while I was watching this match because it was taking place. Pretty on point when it comes to the speed. Also put in my notes, not a bunch of standing around, playing outside of the ring, wasting a lot of time, which irritates me, especially when it comes to NWA television title matches. Why are we running outside of the ring? Again, moderate tempo, and throughout the match, it had its pickup points where they just shifted into another gear. And again, when they shifted into those gears, especially Sam Adonis knew how to antagonize the crowd, so the crowd got into it, and it just made for the overall sequence of the two guys going at it come across even that more appealing to me. I put in my notes, Adonis knows how to push the buttons of the crowd. Definitely did. I don't want to give away everything just in case some of you still haven't gone and watched the match. But Colby Corino and Sam Adonis definitely did their thing in there. There was a selling point in commentary to make a point that Adonis was an actual true heavyweight. I don't think it really mattered in this match based on the skill sets. The impact of some of what Adonis was doing was higher impact than what Colby Corino was doing. Made sense. The end results of this match could have went either way. Did I like the ending of it? Definitely like the end of it. Give it a thumbs up. Moving on. Something I put in my notes here. The video segments are good. They're a good idea. But the monologue with Aaron Stevens went on a little too long. The dialogue with the Southern Six, I got the idea and why they were doing it. But the acting was a little off to me. So maybe cut down the amount of time with the dialogue and sharpen up what they were saying in the deliveries. But I definitely like the idea of this because what it does is it gives the fans more continuity in the storylines. We as NWA fans have been, well, let me rephrase that. The hardcore NWA fans, the diehard NWA fans have been wanting to see some kind of continuity from episode to episode. So with these monologues and these dialogues, it makes sense. The purpose of them and having them in place makes sense. Just the execution needs to be tightened up and the timing tightened up. But to see this moving forward, episode after episode, I think brings value to what we're watching, where there's less questions that has to be asked by us as fans. Why is this happening? Why is that happening? I don't get this, or I don't get that. With these segments in place, when executed correctly, all those questions will always be answered in the episodes of NWA Powerrr that we're watching. That's what we want. That's what we've been asking for. That's what we've been saying in the chats. That's what the complaints have been about. So, although I thought that the acting was a little B-movie, there's room for improvement. So I'm not knocking it. There's room for improvement. Tighten it up. Let's move forward. Next match was a tag team match with Big Mama and Kenzie Paige versus Misty Marks and CJ. I thought this was a pretty good tag team match. Again, it wasn't a lot of wasted time. It wasn't a lot of wasted movement. It was, we're on the clock. We punched in. Let's get to it. My notes, I say, it was nice to see Big Mama. I understand her skill set. She's a power wrestler. I get it. I understand it. It was good to see an actual full-on, like real full-on match with her featured. I didn't have the opportunity to see her in Championship Wrestling for United Wrestling Network. I do understand that she's won the inaugural women's championship there. Congrats to her for that. But this is really my first time really having an opportunity to see her, and the work that she was doing with Kenzie, I thought was pretty on point. Both teams flow really well with their partners. The in and out action of Big Mama and Kenzie Paige is how you win matches. Go to any classic NWA match. Go to any classic tag team match throughout AWA, NWA, WWF, world class. Whenever you're looking at top-notch tag teams, there's always a good sequence of moves, tag-ins, tag-outs. Hot tags, tag out. That's always how you would see good tag team action. And in this match, that's what I saw. Not a lot of weight being carried by one or the other, even balance. And this went on both sides, although it was slightly less on the other side with CJ and Misty Marks, because Misty Marks and CJ were having themselves a struggle against the tag team champions of the National Wrestling Alliance. So they didn't get the tag in and out as much. Nonetheless, the action overall in this match reminded me of classic NWA. I'm always going to say that when a match is good in this era of the NWA. My reference point is to what the greatness has already been, what we've already witnessed. So that's the standard for me. We should never go below that. Just saying. What else do I have in my notes? Match was solid, reminded me of classic NWA. The closing sequence to end out the match with Kenzie Paige and Big Mama was on point. The back and forth. Ring awareness, where people were placed. Excellent. That's what you teach in wrestling school, and it was demonstrated. So, again, congratulations to both teams. If you haven't seen the match, I suggest you go see it. It's worth the watch. As you can see, I don't have many complaints. I don't think there was a spot in there where I was like, what are they doing? Or why? Can somebody please leave the ring? Is that the legal person in the ring? Or, that kick or that punch. None of that happened here. And that's going back also to the first match with Colby Corino and Sam Adonis. There weren't any spots where I was just like, man, can we redo that? And that's great, because that's not always the case. But I will say on the other side of that, most of my criticism has been on the booking side of things, not on the actual in-ring performance. So maybe we're finally looking at an even balance here. And hopefully tonight, which is the 18th of March, on this episode of Powerrr, we'll see this continued. And then next week, and then the following week. That's what I'm hoping. All right, moving on. I have a suggestion for the NWA, for the events segment, where you're highlighting what territories are having which events and what where you're going to be traveling to. The female's voice that's doing the voiceover, she doesn't sound exciting. She doesn't sound enthusiastic. She's not selling me on wanting to participate in anything, actually, at all. She sounds like the voice when I'm doing training at work, my day job. It sounds more like a presentation as opposed to selling me and exuding and projecting excitement about what's happening. NWA is coming to your town. This wrestler is going to be there. That wrestler is going to be there. Tickets are on sale. They're going fast. I'm not getting any of that energy at all. And that music that's playing in the background, it sounds like PowerPoint presentation music. Like you're trying to explain to me how I'm supposed to do my job, as opposed to trying to sell a ticket to me, trying to sell me to want to spend my money to come see you. And for me, I'm in the Pacific Northwest. I'm willing to travel to come see an event. I'm putting money away just to do that. I want to be sold. Now, I don't want to go to an NWA event outside of my state just because I just want to go see the NWA. I want to be sold. Sell me on it. Change the music. Put some oomph in the voiceover. It's a suggestion. Take it for what it's worth or don't take it at all. Whatever. I don't run the company. Just saying. Suggestion. Moving on. Kerry Morton versus Wrecking Ball Legursky. Not a bad match. Big man versus little man. Heavyweight versus junior. And kind of what we had in the first match with Adonis and Colby Corino. Match looked serious while some spots or some moves were entertaining. The shots that took place during the match, Kerry Morton gets caught in the ropes. Legursky punches him several times. Kerry Morton kind of does this okey doke thing where he's flipping back while he's caught in the ropes and flipping himself back up. They do this a few, about 4 or 5 times. It wasn't silly. Again, this is another nod through this whole episode. I felt like there was a lot of nods to classic NWA. Classic NWA in the studio. And this is one of those things, right, where timing is everything. Had they gone one more over the punch and flip back, it would have been overkill. They proceeded to the next set of moves at the right time. That's a plus. That's a major plus. I don't know who's producing the shows now. I don't know if there was a change. I have no idea. I'm not an insider. I don't have anybody I can DM or call or text and say, hey, what made it different this week? I don't have that kind of connection. At least not yet. I will, because I'm that guy. But outside looking in, seems like maybe there was a team huddle, in the minds and the people in power of making the matches, of creating those matches. Everybody seems to be moving on the same wavelength. Whatever it is, whatever it's been, whatever it is, don't change it. Don't change it. What else do I have in my notes here? Again, reminded me of something that would have happened back in the NWA studio matches. Timing was good. The end out of this match with the double effort, the double effort to end the match with Kerry Morton made a lot of sense. Just like in the first match with Sam Adonis and Colby Corino, where even the commentary pointed out, you had her going toe to toe, but for every one hit that Adonis puts on Colby, Colby's, falling to his knees and to his back, as where Colby's shots don't have as much oomph and aren't doing as much damage to Adonis because Adonis is the heavyweight. Same situation here in the last match with Kerry Morton and Wrecking Ball Legursky. Staying in tune with who you are in this match, the junior weight and the heavyweight. If the heavyweight is the heavier hitter who can endure and withstand more pain, that would mean that it takes more from the junior weight to knock the heavyweight off his feet to get the pin. These little things that sometimes are overlooked are what makes the matches good and great. And I think throughout this whole episode, from the match aspects, just talking about the matches, I feel like from beginning to end, all the I's were dotted, all the T's were crossed. I'm not going to get into the brackets with the tournament, with the play-in and all that stuff. I have to disregard it. I know that some people can't see past it, and for good reason. I'm not disagreeing with the insight and the review of how this whole tournament thing has been set up. But for me, I had to look at the core part of the event. The core part of NWA Shockwave were the 3 matches that were put on. And were they good? Yes, they were good. Were they great? We're not supposed to get great into a PLE. So good is what I saw. Great would be the payoff at the PLE, whichever or hard times. Unfortunately, the matches made for hard times don't coincide with what I just saw. So I'm just hoping that hard times has great matches, but it's not because of what I just saw on this last episode. You see what I'm saying? They don't really tie in to what I just saw. Carson Drake and Tom Latimer at hard times doesn't tie into anything that I just saw on Shockwave. So I had to hope that Shockwave has the same energy. They show up to that event with the same energy that I just saw on Shockwave. And I hope so. Especially with Latimer just coming off his victory at Maple Leaf Pro. I hope so. But back to my point. The little things in these matches that are adhered to and constant and played upon from beginning to end. A hurt arm on the right side, a hurt knee on the left side, a hurt ankle on the right foot, damage to the back or damage to the neck, and it being continuously sold throughout the matches or throughout the match. It's those little things, when done right, leads to an episode of NWA Powerrr like what I just saw. So, thumbs up. It's my thumbs up. I'm just some podcaster, whatever about my opinion, right? But I've been this close so many times to discontinuing my watch of the NWA because so much just wasn't clicking. So much wasn't going together. and it appears like right here, and there were some glimpses in Looks to Kill, going back to the Hollywood J and Kenzie Paige. I thought there's glimpses here. You can see in these individual matches that it's there. Is this a matter of tying it in from the beginning at 6:05 when the bell rings all the way to the end? And that's what I saw in this episode. Other folks may not agree. I've cut out for my review, I've cut out the structure of the tournament and the segments, the monologue and dialogue. I didn't think were that great, but the purpose is important. The idea of why these are in place makes sense. The execution just needs to be tightened up. So I won't write it off just yet. Let's see how this develops over the next 2 or 3 episodes. If it doesn't get any better, then I'm going to say it's not getting any better. But for now, I feel like it's on the right path. It's on the right path to provide more continuity for us, the viewers, and for new viewers who will be coming in, who are getting caught up, or not even caught up, just learning the product. When those segments are done correctly, all the questions that they have will be answered. And they can sit back and enjoy from wherever they started, and they can enjoy the program moving on week to week to week. That's why the WWE is killing it right now, because from week to week to week, they explain to you. So every time somebody jumps in who's either brand new or hasn't watched for a few months or whatever, some people have been gone out of watching for a year or two. When they jump in, the production, the producers, along with commentary, give you the rundown so you can just jump right on in. So I'm going to suspend, really, like I said, what I feel about the monologue and the dialogue portions. Was just see how that plays out over the next 2 to 3 episodes. So that's my review of NWA Powerrr, NWA Shockwave. Please, next time, remember to add your special event into the intro so that your viewers know that it's an actual special event titled Shockwave. Your intro is cool. And Corgan on commentary. I know you run the show. It's yours. You can do whatever you want to do. But just because you can do what you want to do doesn't make it right. See, I can go to the liquor store and buy a pint every day and get drunk every day because it's legal. But does it make it right for me to do? I think that in the case of Mr. Corgan on commentary, less is more. Perhaps not being on commentary at all. Making appearances to be the power player that you are, the owner. Not Vince McMahon. Mr. Corgan. You're not Eric Bischoff. You're Mr. Corgan. Smashing pumpkins outside of the NWA. I think the position and your appearances needs to be reevaluated to make more impact. Because on the microphone, on commentary, too much seems like too much battling for who's right when they say what they're saying in commentary when you're sitting there. It's like having an employee who performs their job very well day in and day out, but when manager comes around, it's a little bit different. I think that maybe rare occasions for special announcements, and yeah, I think that's the direction I would go. Special announcements, um, announcing a special match. I would say tournament, but I think a lot of people are tired of tournaments. But you get the point. To come out there and be the power player that you are, to say and speak on the big things, not the play-by-play. Everybody has a position. Everybody has a strength. Everybody has a strong suit. And I don't think commentary is it. I don't think it's it. I don't, especially when it seems like your opinion or your outlook is overpowering the play-by-play of the two commentators that we all like and typically agree with in their presentation. There's no reason to cut that up. That's my opinion. That's me trying to be as respectful as possible with saying it, but I'm not the only one with that opinion. So anyway, I'm Rosville. This is Alliance Late Night episode 12. And I'll be back Friday. I'm actually going to do another taping. Look, I got a taping schedule just like the NWA. So after this evening's episode of Powerrr, I'll be doing another video, and I'll be reviewing Peak Sports Entertainment's last event, Saturday Night Hike, and giving my viewers and listeners a little bit of what's been happening up here in the Pacific Northwest. And there's a lot more to come with other promotions. You'll see it as it unfolds. I walk it before I talk it. It is what it is. Closing out, for anybody out there who's wanting to become a professional wrestler, anybody who has that dream and desire and it doesn't go away, you think about wrestling all the time, you watch wrestling all the time, you're trying the moves, you are thinking this is what you want to do for your career. Get started now. Get after it now. Get your parents behind you, especially if you're a teenager. Many parents want their kids, if not all parents, want their kids in extracurricular activities anyway. So, it doesn't have to be basketball. It doesn't have to be baseball. It doesn't have to be football. It could be training for professional wrestling. So do your research. Do what you can in your time and your space with what you have to prepare yourself. And when the opportunity is there for you, go forward. And disregard any naysayers. Just go after your dreams. It's always a plus to have other sports activities under your belt, but it's not necessary. What's necessary is conditioning and training. So just want to throw that in there. Go after it. Your dream. I'm out of here. Go.